So there's a lot of strikes happening all around the country right now. One of the most prominent ones is the John Deere strike that's occurring right now. John Deere is a famous manufacturer of trucks and, you know, equipment that people need for farmers. And apparently the strike has been going on. They have like reasonable demands. But during that process, the John Deere Corporation, the bosses, have tried to engage in strike breaking and continue manufacturing the product, right? So one thing that they're striking because the CEO during COVID, these guys got over hard. They had like insane deadlines, and also on top of that, like they weren't getting their deliverables basically to be able to produce stuff. Yeah, we're gonna watch this in a second. Yeah. They weren't getting their deliverables to produce stuff, so the line was like being held up, and you know, there's a lot of overtime, and the pay structure that they have is based around KPIs, like key performance indicators, like a shared KPI basically, where if you produce like this level of output and you're 110% more productive, then you get paid out like, you know, a 5% raise and shit like that.
Oh so, yeah, I think we had that. So the workers had that at where I used to work at a beer factory. They had these indicators or whatever. If people performed well, they get bonuses or whatnot.
Yeah, but of course you can't hit those performances if deliveries are not coming in on time because of the supply chain problems caused by COVID. So the CEO during that time, when John Deere showed record profits, I believe it was like $6 billion in just last year alone, the CEO's raise was 160%. The CEO got 160% raise. They couldn't even give the workers a 5%, or they gave the workers only 5% raise. Well, inflation is 5.4%, so technically they didn't even get a pay raise.
They got a discount.
Yeah, so exactly. So the CEO, the company's profits went up by 60%. The pay raise for the workers was awarded $1.64 per hour over the next 5 years. So that's like nothing. So they got very mad, and the union got together and decided to, strike.
Why did products go up then? Because people are farming a lot during COVID, and because the farming is affected by it. But I don't get it.
Yeah. I mean, that's one reason. People are still buying. Yeah, people are still buying their product. They want to buy their product. I mean, profits can go up for a multitude of different reasons in the current way that like our economy is designed. Our corporations don't necessarily get a lot of like increased additional profits exclusively because of additional demand, but additional demand can factor into it. In a lot of instances, profits literally go up because they'll merge with another company, they'll buy another company, they'll get good coverage, they'll fire half the staff, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden they're more lean. It's fake for the most part. It's not literally and directly because they're making more. I'm sure the farmers were taking advantage of some PPP loans, maybe. Yeah. So basically, profits go up. They're not realizing the profits that they played into, that they generated as the workers. So they say, this, we want more. And John Deere says, you. They say, okay, you back, we are going to strike. We're going to do a work stoppage. So what John Deere ended up doing is they took people from the corporate side and engineers that are salaried employees that are not unionized, and they basically gave them licenses. They like quickly trained them and gave them licenses so they would operate the machinery. But this is like really heavy machinery. You can't just like get in without any like expertise. So basically what has already happened is like they're like hitting the tractors, they're fucking up the assembly line.
That's terrible.
Yeah, so they're like, they literally put like the accountants and managers and shit on the assembly line, and they're fucking up. One of the ways that they're bringing people in through the strike, through the picket line to cross it, is the Deere security, the private security that they've hired, oftentimes they're literally cops, has been transporting people in and out. Presumably this is because people are scared to show their face while undermining the strike.
Yeah, but this guy doesn't show his face, but he shows his plate number. So
I mean, that's probably a company car, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, they're literally bringing the scabs in with Jason masks, dude. That's dystopian as shit.
That's kind of scary, though.
So let's watch this. Let's watch this video from More Perfect Union.
Did you know that I have my a license in Quebec to drive machinery, like forklifts, genie lifts,
who the absolute would let you touch machinery, dude?
I used to work at a beer factory. I used to work at a Budweiser.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
That's nuts, dude. They're giving it to everybody, huh? They're giving it. What did you get it in a cereal box? Is that how they gave it to you?
I got lucky.
I would not trust you behind heavy machinery, dude. You worked at a Budweiser factory?
Yeah.
I thought you cleaned toilets and shit. I thought you were a janitor.
I did a bunch of stuff over there. I did renovation projects. I did cleaning projects. I did filter changing projects and a janitor a lot.
That's pretty tight that you were forklift certified.
Yeah.
That's dope.
And also the genie lifts also. You know the big one at the ground, and then it's like a big machine on the ground that moves, and then there's a big arm in it, right? It's called a genie lift, so I can say.
How do you spell it?
A genie, like a genie. It comes out of a box.
Oh, like, oh, that?
Oh yeah, it'd be like that. Just go in images. Yeah, that one.
That one?
Yeah.
You know how to move one of these things?
They're really easy though. These are like toys. They have like 8 buttons and it's like back, forward. You just gotta know like what not to do.
That's sick, dude. That's actually pretty cool. Okay, well, but let's watch.
Yeah,
So we're gonna watch the 10,000 John Deere workers who are currently on strike right now before we move on to the Yachtse strike and have Alex press on to talk about it.
We make the product and they are making billions of dollars on our back.
All these people have been in there during the whole COVID pandemic, coming to work and every day, with the potential of exposing themselves and their families, to this, but they came in and worked anyway. Do I see Deere and Company, kind of recognizing that and trying to reciprocate in any sort of way? No, I don't.
John Deere makes $6 billion a year. They threw peanut shells on the floor and asked us to scoop them up. Well, guess what? My dad and me have carried this in 1986. We're back. We're union strong. We've got the community behind us.
Sounds fair to me.
I've worked at John Deere for 19 years now. The reason why we're striking is, 1997 is when Deere divide and conquered. They made the 2-tier wage system where, new hires coming in after the 1st of October 1997, got paid less wages, didn't have health care after retirement, a pension, which is about 1/3 of our predecessors. And, we've basically been taking concessions from that point for the last 25 years.
They keep coming back for more. It never stops. Once they got you on the run.
They're projected to make between $5.7, $5.9 billion this year. Their third quarter reportings have it surpass the record-breaking year of 2013. CEO John May got a 160% raise. Look, I make $20.82, I think, an hour with the proposed contract that we voted down Sunday by 9 out of 10 people voted down. We sent a strong, clear message to John Deere that, $1 raise an hour is not going to do much for me.
I make $19.60 an hour as a welder.
And these are unionized?
But just for the whole factory,
This is pretty low for-
I think they need a $5.
$19.60 an hour is like, dude, you want to know how America is? There's hella people in the chat who just went, that's actually pretty good wage.
Unionized, big company and whatnot, expertise, long time at the company, it's not a lot.
15 years to make $19 an hour as someone who's a certified unionized welder, dude. That's insane. That's literally insane. And even that is like a dream that is not even achievable for so many. So, that's the unfortunate reality. That's why people get so vicious, especially on the internet, because Americans are so fucked. American workers are so supremely that it creates an environment that is really hostile towards other workers because they're like, well, they have more than me. Those guys, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not by comparison and by perspective, which is kind of weird. We were unionized at the factory, and as a janitor, I was making $23.5 an hour, just mopping up as a brand new employee.
Yeah, that's socialism, brother. That's socialism. $20 an hour is a little less than what minimum wage should have been. Now that we had minimum wage kept up going with the times since 1980s, yeah. Union welders made like 50 an hour tops. Yeah, there's people in here that are making less than that. I mean, dude, the federal minimum wage is still $7.25.
That is insane.
And we couldn't even raise it to $15, even though it's insanely popular. Okay, it's insanely popular. And because of a couple Democratic senators and the entirety of the Republican Senate, we couldn't even get it up to 15, which was broadly popular in the states that the senators said that they don't want to raise it on. And that's the leftist side. That's the Democrats.
Well, but in most states, though, with $10, you can't do anything. And if there's two of you, for let's say, you have a partner, $15 combined, you can't do anything with that. What are you gonna do with $15 combined an hour? You can't even live.
And that's why people are like, this shit, we don't want to do this anymore. That's why you see people constantly crying about how there's work shortages happening everywhere. I can't get my attendees, I can't get my treats on time and shit like that.
Question then, isn't it the job kind of like the government order to compute like, okay, cost of living in here with our minimum wage. Oh, if you were to work full time in here, you would just die over time. And fix that? Is that their responsibility to fix that?
It would be, but the American government, or most capitalist governments in the Western world, their entire job is to protect and serve the interests of capital, those who own the corporations, those who own the businesses, rather than the workers themselves. The workers get scraps, right? You get like enough that you don't literally starve or don't live out in the street, but not so like, and that's pretty much it. They want to keep you as thirsty and as hungry as possible, so you take on those jobs for shit pay because you're desperate, but not so hungry that you realize you're backed into a corner and the only way to get out of it is by fighting back. So that's just the way it works here. That's why we have no unions in this country. Only 10% of our workforce is unionized. We don't have collective bargaining agreements that protect the entirety of the industry. Squid Game at Deere, yeah, they literally are pulling up Squid Game right now.
Dollar raise across the board just for the fact that we can go to a fast food place and make as much money and not wear our bodies down.
John Deere offered workers a 5% raise between $2 and $3 over the next 3 years. They also want to end their automotive factory.
I got a job where it's comfortable and I make decent money. But there are other plans, other people in this plant aren't making the money they should.
I'm already a labor grade one, but definitely for the people that are out on the floor building these machines. I'd like to work around people that are out.
And the thing is, I'm going to pause for a second, but the thing is, like, these guys aren't just Democrats. They're not Republicans. Like, they are workers, right? So they are right now united on the issue of class, their class interests. Because as workers, your boss doesn't give a if you're a Democrat or Republican. Your boss only cares about the shareholders, right? The lifeless, faceless shareholders that are God knows where, that own like a controlling stake or have all of their interests protected by the company. Their entire job is to fire you if necessary, to work you to the bone if necessary, only to improve the profit margins so the shareholders get more. So those guys, some of them are Republicans, some of them are Democrat. It doesn't matter. What they're doing right now is collective action so that they can get back more of the profits that they generated.
Yeah, but fuck the margins. I mean, they're making a lot of money this year, right? They're making a lot of profits. Even if they put a small percentage of that amount that they made increase, if they put that on extra pays, it could go like, they would have enough funds to increase the pay for everybody or a good amount of people for like a lot of years, right?
Yeah, so that
$5 a month.
That itself is the main problem. At the heart of the issue is that would mean eating into the profit margins. That would mean that like the shareholders who own the company within the stock market, they get less money back. Their stock prices are lowered as a consequence of that, because the profits are the profits are lower. So when that happens, that breaks the entire system. Like the entire system design falls apart. So that's precisely the reason why companies fight tooth and nail to push back against unionization efforts, to push back against collective bargaining efforts like this, to push back against strikes and break those strikes, because they would rather than let the profit margins diminish even for a little bit.
But if things are going great, why not if things are great, why not make things good for workers instead of decent, so that it continues to be that way and even be better? And maybe the profit margins are even going to increase.
Well,
and people are making more money.
Because they don't think about it as like sustainability. I think capitalism has rotted our brains. Like it's just everybody thinks about short-term profits and greed. They don't think about this they don't think about this from the point of view of sustainability. They think about this from the point of view of it's greed. That's the main motivator here. It's quarterly earnings reports. That's the main motivator here. And it creates a system where like they don't even care about sustainability, but instead they care about exponential growth, constantly growing, constantly improving profit margins, right? And that's unsustainable. And I'll point it to you from what we do, right? Like if I had all of the interest to make as much money as I possibly could, and you're in a similar situation as well, like we would constantly be doing ad streams, right? I mean, that's so much money. Like,
oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, sell out ad streams, subathons, media share shit like nonstop. There's so many ways to really skyrocket. You be like Miskiff. That's the greatest
good one. But okay, but listen, the thing is though, is that the thing that I don't really understand with shareholders sometimes is that they already bought the shares, right? The shareholders, they already bought the shares and whatnot. And they have a portion. I get they have like a portion of the company or whatever. But I guess I just don't understand stocks that much, because why do they control things? Why can't they apply pressure? They bought in for the company to do what they do best or whatever. Or like, I just don't get it.
Yeah, they buy into the company, and the board has what is known as a fiduciary responsibility. The board literally legally has to do, and this is built into our system, they legally have to do whatever they can to make sure that they're not hurting profits. They have a fiduciary responsibility to the shareholders to ensure that profits are not diminishing. Okay, so that is straight up, like it's illegal almost in situations like they could just boom fire you from the board if you actually worked against the profit margin and literally said, shareholders, we are going to give better, we're going to give more of the profits back to the workers.
Okay, it's almost like if let's say I was
but the point wait, let me go back to sustainability really quick, and we got to have Alex on in a second. The point about sustainability is this: if you didn't care about your audience, if you wanted to chill, if you wanted to sell out, you could literally just constantly do ad streams, do merch all the time, all this other shit, and some of it would be cool, some of it wouldn't, whatever, right? Take on ads that you don't give a about.
That makes sense, yeah.
All the take on sponsorships, but you don't care about that. You're like, you already make a load of money, and so do I. Okay, unimaginable amounts of money. And by the way, I was joking about Miskiff.
Yeah,
chill out. I love Miskiff. And he doesn't, he does a decent amount, but it's not what I'm talking about. So everybody calm down. So the thing is, like, but you care more about sustainability. You care more about, like, not over your audience and not over your community. And you care about having fun and, dominating the platform. So you hyper focus on that. But these corporations don't do that. They don't care about sustainability. They don't care about, like, how they manufacture their products, or who manufactures their products, rather. All they care about is increasing shareholder value. The stocks go up. They want the number to go up all the time, nonstop.
But that
makes
no sense though. It's like if I grew my stream to a certain point, right, by doing my formula and it's doing great, and some investor, we're like, oh, we're investing into your stream, right? And then they're like, oh, change this, change that for more products. Like, okay, but I got to this point doing that, and this formula is going to hurt the product or whatever. So it doesn't really make sense though.
Yeah, but there is no product anymore because of the financialization of our market. We don't care about manufacturing products anymore. We care about the number going up.
Oh, okay.
So do you understand? That's why, like, sense. That's why, like, there is more of an incentive to just, like, engage in stock buybacks, for example,
I get it now.
and all this other shit, rather than, like, literally manufacture stuff. Most of the vertical and horizontal integration on the supply chain occurs because they want to monopolize, and they want to take on they want to dominate the industry in its entirety. That's why, like, Amazon owns, like, delivery, the delivery side of things. That's why Amazon owns factories that create products. It's no longer just a marketplace for where, like, other companies to come in and sell their products, right? And they do that so they can own a bigger piece of the pie, and every single step that you take towards that, you can be as abusive as you want, as long as, in the United States of America, as long as the consumer is not harmed, i.e. as long as the consumer gets a cheap good that is immediately delivered to them.
So they still buy it. The product still rolls.
It's literally legal for them to monopolize. That's how it works here. And that's unlike anything that's ever happened throughout history, or rather, when it did happen in the history of the United States, there were antitrust laws set in place. But now our understanding of, like, monopoly busting and trust busting revolves around consumers getting cheap shit. Anyway, we'll get back to this video in a second, but I gotta bring on Alex Press.
Yeah, just give him a minute.
Hey, if you like this video, please subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss out on any future videos.